directly into the sprinkler alarm, but I'm pretty sure even that, yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I know the vapes. The vapes don't.
Let's
set
do
those
this.
up. All right, let's do it. You can have one of these too if you want.
With or without, as far in, as far out. Present, past, future, now. Here we are again on another Full Self session up in the shy Chicago night. It's Monday night, and we're feeling all right.
420.
420. We are up in the house on 420, and I am thrilled. I didn't have anything on the calendar. I was like, oh man.
I was very happy to see that I was 420. I was like, hell yeah.
Fucking super stoked to have an artist who's been cooking for quite some years, a saga of their own. Ran into them at the old Collider. Shout out again to the Collider. It just gets noisier and noisier over there.
Hey.
A lot of racket. I guess I can't say Chicago's very own, but Chicago's very own now.
Now, yeah,
Here we
animatronic is Chicago. It's
Animatronic.
Animatronic.
Boom in the house.
Yeah, animatronic was not a Massachusetts thing. I did a couple sets out there, but like no,
Yeah.
I actually slept on this project until I got out here.
Well, welcome, Jeff. Super groovy to have you
Thanks for having me.
on the show. What was the journey out to Shy City like?
Well, you
And
know,
why?
well,
Yeah, why come to O'Hare Airport?
to get my thing rubbed by the TSA one more time than probably they should have. They asked me if I wanted a separate room. I didn't realize I was going to get 6 rubs. If I was going to get 6 rubs, yeah, take me in another room, guy. For crying out loud. It's supposed to be 4. He went in for 2
I thought
more.
you just wanted to take your task cam out here and get those air jets up.
I mean,
put it
look.
on the feedback reverb and loop it backwards. And
Look, I've flown Logan, airport so many
Yeah.
times. Never been rubbed in the crotch 6 times till O'Hare.
What?
Never been rubbed in the crotch 6 times till O'Hare.
Till O'Hare.
What was it? Was it like did you have a backpack on you? or
No,
was
he
it
just
something-
I don't know. I mean, maybe he thought I was cute. He was just like, "Hey, I gotta search you, guy. Do you want a room or do you want to just do it right here?" And I was like, "All right, let's do it right here." I didn't know, it was gonna be.
Quite so many rubs. Quite so many rubs.
Well, rub-a-dub-dub. Here we are, having fun. 420, y'all, sparking it up. Chicago's very animatronic, and it's possibly gonna get really loud here later on.
Yeah.
I haven't really witnessed the live set. More have spoken and seen some of the footage from the basement of what's the name of that basement again? The basement.
Well, it's
that should not be named or shall be named or anyhow.
Collider Underground. Yes,
Underground.
Collider Underground.
Collider Underground.
We have a basement where we try
to do the noise shows because we thought
that'd
Yeah.
be nice.
I guess we should dive in a little bit further back. Just when did you start playing music yourself?
Well, I mean, in high school, me and my friends wanted to start a band, and I didn't play an instrument, and I had the most charisma, so they made me the singer. And
That's how that formed?
That's how I became a singer.
Wow.
And I have documentation of being a really bad singer for many years in high school. And then in college, I started to come into my own with vocals.
I gotta know, what was the first band name?
Oh gosh. You know what? I'm only going to tell you because I named them and I'm proud of the names.
Okay.
Let's see. So first there was Dinobot. Dinobot was my first synth punk band. And that was like a 2-piece. We were kind of like always trying to find a bass player. We used a sampler to cue the drums. The set lists would have numbers next to the name of the song so that I knew which button to press on the sampler for the drums we needed. It was very, very, very like and you know, we got pretty good. We played a show that like Johnny Hobo put on, and I just remember like Johnny Hobo wearing an army helmet, like moshing around the pit, thinking, "Oh, we must be kind of good."
Yeah.
If this is happening. Mm-hmm. But yeah, then there was Trash Fire, which was like kind of like I don't know, like kind of indie punk, but like I was singing through a lot of pedals because I had just heard Brainiac for the first time, so it was like kind of a mishmash of stuff. And then you know, those two bands fizzled out, and I started making like solo music, and I kind of thought that it would just be noise music and that I wouldn't be able to write songs because I was just a singer. But then all hell broke loose, and I had like no place to practice. So I found this like business lot and this building that had electricity outlets. And there was just nobody there all night. Sometimes not all day. It was like it was just this like one building that would fit like 4 businesses and nobody was really in it. I think the one place that was being operated was a like infectious control company, where, you know, one of those businesses, they stick places that...
Is this before liminal space was trending?
So, you know, what's funny is nobody was renting anything, and then it came...
It sounds like
as
this
the months
is a
went
very
by...
liminal space that you tapped into before.
So it was originally an access road to a bigger business lot, and then they closed it off. So it was just these 2 buildings that would fit like 4 businesses, and it was an old building. So yeah, they all had outlets on the outside of it. So I was like kind of mentally ill. I knew
As
some...
one maybe sometimes.
So I started a band in a parking lot. Yeah, you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, you lose your mind and you start a synth punk project in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Because nobody can stop you. Because nobody can stop you.
Did you have anywhere to go or live at that point?
So I did. I was like living with my parents for the moment. You know, I had lived in Ipswich for a long time.
Okay.
There was a collective that Pile came out of, and it was really cool to see them emerge from just a demo to like a full-fledged band. But
a lot of ragers.
A lot of rage. Yeah, we had some really good times. We had some really, really, really good times, and then shit got weird. Shit got a little culty. Shit got a little culty. Way after Pile was out of there. To be clear, it got weird. And so then I got out of there, and that's when I kind of found myself in a parking lot making music for the first time. But it was a really, really special time. I would be out there until like the sun came up. I was like totally
Did you just
left
have
alone.
all your equipment still in your...
Everything you see here.
Okay, so you
was
still
like,
had it, and you were able to plug into the back.
I had a PA coming out of my trunk. You know, I mean, like, I didn't have anything to lose. I had my friends. I had my family. There was a place I could go to jam in a basement if my friend, if she was at work, she would let me. So I had places to go, but when I didn't, I still like had to do this. So I would go out there, and I don't know, there was something about going out into the night to make something. It just it felt really cool, even though, you know, it was, you know, not doing so well.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then, you know, one fateful night, a cop rolled up. I mean, it was a matter of time. And he goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I go, "Honestly, I'm just like mentally ill, and I'm just trying to make some music. I'm not here. I'm not bothering anyone." And he goes, "No, you got to get the fuck out of here. What are you, stealing their electricity?" And then he looks around. He goes, "Oh, no cameras, huh?" He looks at me, he goes, "Okay, wrap it up, keep it down." And then he left. So he basically told me that I was good and I could continue to practice there, and he wouldn't tell on me, and he didn't tell on me, and then it got too cold.
You got a good one.
You got a good car.
I mean,
You lucked out.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that anybody who drove into that parking lot never meant to drive into that parking lot. They would always be like, "Oh shit, where am I?" and leave. And I was always like, "Am I gonna get?"
You
found
never
out?
know with the because I frequent dead malls a lot, and the security, you know, they'll kick you out the first chance they get. So like sit in places or locations like that, it's very hit or miss.
Yeah, this was like 10, maybe even like 13 years ago, you know. So like I got away with a lot of things. Actually, one night I showed up and I lifted the, you know, outlet latch like I normally would, and a key fell out. The key to the business that I was.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like I went inside. I went inside, and there was like this like really archaic security system, and I ripped it out of the wall, and I went into a little office room and set up, and I practiced there and did a little couple of sets there, like just recorded them. And then I got to the point.
Did you feel comfortable? Like,
No, that was the problem.
Yeah.
Then I got to this point where I was like, damn it. If anyone comes in through that door, I'm not going to hear them because I'm playing music in this room. And then they're going to know which room I'm in. And then they're going to bust in this room. And probably nothing's going to happen, but they're going to scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, exactly.
So it became a thing where I was like, I got to just, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started playing shows in Lowell and Worcester. And I found a home in Lowell. And then me and 3 other people started a house called Leisure Hive. And we did a lot of shows there. And then it became a lot of noise shows, and I booked a lot of noise shows there. And that is also where I started my Fight the Flock Fest, which is a 4th of July noise fest. That is just that. It's just
What
that.
year did that start?
We're about, well, if we stay where we're at. Right now. That will be the 5th time I've done it. So that's
A lot of fireworks. Fireworks for 5 years then?
Yeah.
All sorts of firework noises.
Yeah, we started it. I started it in Massachusetts at the Leisure Hive, and it's funny. The second year we did it, there were people firing fireworks over the house. Like there was a park, like not too far from us, and so there were some people, you know, and they were clearly, you know, aiming them above the house. And like one of the funniest moments I remember, and like I think my partner remembers this too, is like I walked down the street. And I was like, "All right, who was it? Who's doing it?" And nobody answered. And I was like, "Can you guys stop? It's a fire hazard." And then they did like 2 more, and then they stopped, and I was like, "Okay, all right."
So no one blew it off.
I was just
No garages.
I was just happy it never became like a Proud Boy moment. Like, here come the hillbillies, the northern hillbillies pulling up in their fucking pickup trucks because they know an anti-Fourth Fest is going on.
Yeah.
But that never happened.
So, well, good. So happy to hear that. And then you made your way, you know, here to Chicago.
Yeah,
And it's been a minute, you know.
It is.
Welcome.
I got here last March, and I had Animatronic all recorded and kind of ready to put out. And before I left Massachusetts, I was just like, why would I put this out here when I'm moving there? I might as well just wait on it and just kind of put it out there. And so, yeah, Animatronic is... I wrote these songs in Massachusetts, but I always meant to kind of... I knew I was coming here for like MCOA, but I always meant to kind of 6 months before. And I was writing the music, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna give this to Massachusetts. Like I
So-
already gave them enough of my years.
Very, very well. Even the tongue before the blade became there.
Yeah, I actually after the
conceived.
second Fight the Flock Fest, or no, it was the third one. I blacked out my windows and I didn't leave my room for 3 days. And I'd love to say that I wrote the whole album, but I really only wrote the music. I'd love to say all the lyrics were there, but the lyrics kind of came later. But yeah, synonymous with the fest. I had the rest of the week off because I thought I had to because it was a fest, and yeah, I said I wanted to make something that was a little bit darker than the synth punk that I used to make, a little bit angrier, and I did that, and it was a really fun creative experience. You know, I mean, it was, you know, you got to make it fun for you, you know,
Yeah.
and that did make it fun, and I definitely think coming off of seeing so many noise sets before I wrote this music, like really shaped it, and I kind of knew it would. So I was really happy to record this and get it out because I actually had kind of written it like a year and a half prior, you know, but you know, it was a, you know, to go from a creative experience of like, I have this whole parking lot to myself and I can be as loud as I want and nobody can bother me. And then the next thing you know, you're in a punk house, but you're in this tiny little room, and can you make it just as fun for yourself? And you know, yeah, I did. You know, you gotta tweak things a little bit, keep it fresh. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put trash bags over all my windows and stapled them up good, and had some food and water, and I didn't leave unless I had to pee.
Wow. It sounds like there was a lot of current and swirling energies, chaotic energy before you even decided to enter the vessel to create. What made you decide to put the bags over? Like, why? What? When did you know? Like,
You were going to lock it, and what caused you to really decide you were going to lock it? Well, so the synth punk project that was my solo project before Animatronic was called Idle Brain, and I started that like probably at this point. This project started like 8 years ago, and started in that parking lot. That was the project that I formed in the parking lot, was Idle Brain, and Idle Brain was a synth punk project, but something kind of changed when I started running drums through the pedals.
A long time ago. Oh my God, you just like gave me like MySpace flashbacks. Like how many different AFI songs I had on my MySpace. I don't know. I probably all of Art of Drowning.
hell yeah.
At one point had been on my MySpace.
Yes.
But I digress. Yeah, so Idle Brain became kind of my first, you know, whack at writing songs. And I think that
You guys utilized Bandcamp.
Oh yes. Oh
That was
yeah. A
some
lot of
kind of
Bandcamp, and yeah. I mean, I
Bandcamp's still cool to this day.
yeah. It's
still
I love
grooving.
Bandcamp.
Yeah.
It's the streaming services that like my stuff is. You know, Idle Brain is still up on that, and so is Animatronic. I would like to take them all down personally, but there was a time where I was like, oh wow, I'm streaming.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like Idle Brain started kind of like before that was
Yeah.
big, and Bandcamp, and yeah, MySpace was like kind of all we had.
Yeah.
But I think with Idle Brain, I wanted to write every kind of song I was capable of, and I didn't know what that was. And it was a really fun creative journey. But then by the end of it, I was like, I really want to like take another whack at this, but like. And I was also thinking a lot about like alternate universes where like everything is the same, but it's a little bit different. And I started to kind of daydream on like what an evil Idle Brain might sound like, and what an evil Idle Brain might talk about. And then I got like really into the idea of ending Idle Brain and kind of like starting this other chapter. And I don't know, something along the way, like, you know, you never really. I don't know if most people make a conscious decision to be more polished. But I think when I was making Animatronic, I had this feeling like I kind of wanted to outdo myself, and I had like, you know, this 7 years behind me with this other project, and I had Dying in Space, which is a noise project that's like pretty unrelated to this project. But you know, I did at that point have 2 projects, and it just felt like Idle Brain had kind of done musically everything that it could. And so yeah, I took Animatronic and kind of a different direction. But I always say to people, if you really like this, you'll probably like Idle Brain. And I always I keep a link on to the Idle Brain Bandcamp from the Animatronic Bandcamp, because if you happen to want more, there is more. You know what I mean? There's like a lot more. But this recording sounds really good. My friend Larry from the project, Zilmara, Larry Zilmara, recorded Animatronic, and then I was doing a collab with another artist in my project Dying in Space, and that guy liked it so much that he said, I'm going to send this to James Plotkin. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you knew him. And they were like, well, I don't really know him, but I have his contact. So I got his contact. So then when Animatronic was done and recorded by Larry, I was like, I'm just going to ask him, no big deal. And James Plotkin was like, yeah, sure. For I can't even say how much money it was. And that's when the songs that you write touch the hands of someone who records them, and you hear things better than you heard them before. And then you give it to like another person to master it. And that's when I heard it and I was like, oh, wow. And this is really why you trade hands with a recording. Yeah, you can do it all in your room and you can love your mix and that's all well and fine. But things changed when it changed hands. And, it's an album that, Idle Brain couldn't have made. You know what I mean? So, and I have other people to thank for that. You know what I mean? I did. It is my baby, and I did really labor over it in a good way. But, it changed hands, and I was just really, really happy with that.
Yeah.
Which is not another thing with Idle Brain is, I would record things and only kind of like it after we heard it back and didn't know really what to say to tweak it. And with Animatronic, everything came to a head as far as like my abilities, but it was the best when it changed hands. It got recorded and then it got mastered by Larry and then James Plotkin. Yeah.
What a roller coaster. That's so exciting. With the this state is a trash bag, did that lyric and song name come before or after you put the trash bag?
I am so glad you asked that question. I am so glad you asked that question. Sometimes when I play that song in Chicago, I feel the need to say, this song is not about Chicago. This song is about Lowell, Massachusetts, okay? This city is a trash bag. Or whatever I said. What did I say? What's it called? The state is a trash bag?
Yeah.
Yeah. The song is about Lowell. And
So not-
when I say
not the
Lowell is trash, I don't mean that it's a gritty, trashy place. I mean that it's trash because UMass Lowell, the college, just keeps buying more and more of a mid-sized city that cannot afford. No one can afford to live there except for the college kids and people who can afford upscale apartments that were refurbished from, the Great Depression, when really those spaces should be affordable. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But it's a college town, and it's it's a cool. Lived there for a while, and I came up to Chicago because I just kind of I knew some people out here, and I had this project that I really believed in, and I was like, yeah, I want to go and be from parts unknown and slug it out in the trenches, and and just have this thing that I feel good about, but nobody knows about, and and just do it, and I'm having a blast.
As far as just throwing textures or just static or just combination of sound together, who are some of your first influences to even take that route? Or
everything changed after I heard Brainiac. I was listening to an artist that I really liked being interviewed, and they were like, what do you listen to before you go on stage? And they were like, oh, Brainiac. So I checked them out. And actually, Idle Brain stands for Idolized Brainiac, and so I think that really changed things for me. There's this one Brainiac song where it just stops and there's just a noise for like 2 seconds, and then the drummer just goes and they go right back into the song, and I was just like, that is the coolest thing I've ever, like I want that. I want to write songs where, oops, it just all fell apart, and then maybe it will come back together. You know what I mean? But and then the synth sounds, I liked how tiny they were. It sounded like they were using toy synthesizers. You know what I mean? And I liked that. So I kind of really gravitated towards, giant synthesizers or even your normal sized ones are so expensive. And you can get these like little toys that will make the sounds. They're not great synths to play as far as playing goes, but like sound engines are pretty easy to come by, and even like the tiniest synth toy. And I think that's another that's a way that Brainiac got into me. Yeah, I would also say Neon Blonde. I was really into like the Blood Brothers, of course, and then Neon Blonde came out, and I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. I want to make something that's kind of more singularly me, and has, because then I can kind of be as weird as I want and have a normal band on the side.
Yeah. The whole thing is fiery and chaotic, and there's so much hellscapes.
Thank you.
Just distortion overload, but also times of peace or some feeling of reconciliation at points in melodies. Neon Red really gets fucking hellish.
Thank you.
Was there something that sparked that one in particular? Or?
Neon Red is like the primary example of what I was just talking about. Yeah. First of all, I think Neon Red was the first one I wrote because I decided, I was like, what's the fucking craziest thing I can make? Like, how can I overload this sequencer to do something that is interesting? You know what I mean? And and then it was like this very it's kind of faster than I usually write song, and I was like, well, where do we go? And I was like, I think this is it. This is the time where I just want it to explode, fall apart, and then come back for 2 seconds to finish the song. And fuck, I just wanted it to fall apart.
I love that you added the lyrics. It's really cool.
The lyrics are kind of scrapbooky. It was kind of like, I didn't know, I loved the piece of music, and I kind of was like, okay. And so I kind of went through my journal and found 2 lines together, and then kind of found 2 more lines I liked, and I put them together, and I was like, well, this is kind of saying more what I feel than less what I mean. But
throw them to the fire, God's machine needs coal.
Yeah.
Fueling that fire.
Yeah. That's off of All Pedophiles Are Pro-Life. And that is like a song I feel really strongly about. It's the first time I've ever written the title first before anything. I wrote the title down. I said, that's kind of how I feel. What happens next? And I knew that it had to be scary and angry, and what's funny about that song is that at that moment I thought I was talking about sex trafficking and saying exactly how I felt about it. And then the Epstein files dropped, and I realized that song is not angry enough. It's angry. It's angry for how I felt in the moment. But now we're learning, what these guys are all about. And I feel a little silly playing it now because I love the song, but it's not half as angry as it should be. But neither are we.
Yeah. Truly moving. That song. Very goosebumps, man. Like the whole record really, really moving in the best ways possible. Sponsored by
Thank you.
Narcissism.
Narcissism, yeah.
That is, yeah. Speaking of the state of the world and fucking holy shit,
Yeah.
narcissism is something that deeply wounds us as a society, and still to this day we still suffer.
It really is, and I think there's so much individualism, and solo projects are so that they're so individualized, and you've got your brand, but it's just you, and I would see some other people kind of get further along with having less feelings. And I was like, oh, they're sponsored by narcissism. I wish I was. We all have our tendencies to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote that song kind of just thinking to myself, I wish I had. I wish I have the self-belief, but I wish I had that kind of like inhuman ability to just move along, but I'm not that person. I care too much.
Yeah. And it's important for us to care.
It
I
is.
mean, that's the thing too, is it's hard to stand up and be on the line of being like, well, fuck, we all kind of have to do this together and care for each other. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It takes a collective. It does. Even like, and you've grown up in punk houses and been part of, bigger scenes, and it's not easy to manage the energy, especially when it starts really swelling up. But it's
true.
important to navigate.
It's true, and the whole the punk house DIY scene is so vast too that you're gonna run into a handful of narcissists. You're gonna run into those. You're gonna run into that in any music scene. But it's good to be able to see it and be able to clock it within yourself. And yeah, I mean, like kind of the moral of the story with that very brief song is kind of like, if you don't take care of this, you're going to get to a point in your life where it affects the people that you love, and now you don't even have this thing to propel you anymore. You're done with this whatever art world you came from, and now you're just an aging narcissist. It's too late to fix what you've become if you're already let's say
Married with children, you know what I mean?
That's a rough time to wait to work on your narcissism. But it gets you to it gets people to where they want to go, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not that kind of mentally ill, unfortunately.
Yeah. How do you feel about collaborating overall with people in 2026?
I love collaborating. I think people don't know that they can collaborate with Animatronic because it's like a person playing in front of, more or less a backing track. That doesn't, it's a board, there's pedals on it, but it's me and a microphone and some synthesizers, and so that doesn't really look like, something that you can collaborate with, especially when, everything, a lot of the music comes from loopers just because I don't feel like using a laptop or samplers. But it doesn't help the fact, it doesn't help me look like a collaborative project. But Animatronic has done that. I have done sets that I was like, oh, we're jamming? Okay. And I switch up my situation, and yeah, it's very, very doable. I would love to have some kind of situation where, there's two people, there's me and there's another person who writes, electronic music, and we kind of try to make a collaborative project, kind of like blend the DNAs together. But I'm also very open to, just playing synth in a band. I mean, I'm kind of in the process of working on an electronic duo, but I'm very open to. I guess it's been a minute since I've been a lead singer, and I would love to give that a whack again. You know what I mean? I have the time.
Did you have vocal lessons?
No, I am self-taught, and you know, I would say to anybody, like, yeah, you can go get lessons, and you're gonna be probably better than me, but it's a lot of fun to kind of sing along with the people that you can sing, your heroes that you can sing along to, and then always have these other people that you just couldn't even fathom hitting those notes and still trying to do it. I think, you know, a lot of my learning was like with a lot of people is you're in your car and you're singing, and if nobody's around, you're gonna go for those people you can't touch, you know, those vocal abilities you can't touch. But the funny thing is if you keep doing that, you're gonna be able to do them eventually. I think voice is my instrument because I had to teach myself everything, but singing is just in my mind. I don't have to think about I don't have to think about it, and it's kind of the only instrument where like somebody can show me something and I can be like blah 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 back to it. I can't really do that with most instruments.
Did you sing a lot as a kid?
I did. I actually, my mother has video of me 5 years old singing Phil Collins' "Think Twice" at a wedding. Wow. And I couldn't pronounce "think," so I said "sink" twice. So it's like, oh,
thinking is sinking.
Sink twice. I wasn't saying the wrong word. I just couldn't pronounce it.
Thoughtless thought. Wow. That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah, big Phil Collins house at my my mom and dad.
Yeah. I was talking to you off air about my buddy Nick.
Yes.
He was gifted Phil Collins drumstick because my mom had a Phil Collins drumstick.
Hell yeah.
And so when Broken Image, my first band ever, when we formed, I remember like, my mom gifting that to Nick as the drummer, being like, got this drum from Phil Collins show in whatever year it was. You know,
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah. And come on, there's some good Collins songs.
I mean,
there's some
listen,
really good
Chicago.
songs.
Listen, Chicago. I've been here for a year. So one thing Chicago radio really likes in the air tonight. Because, listen, Chicago. Listen.
What's in the air tonight,
Listen,
Chicago?
Chicago.
Oh, here we go. Now we got the
Someone
aliens
got mad at
contacting
me.
us.
No, but seriously.
UFOs are coming in.
Seriously, like
Yeah.
Chicago radio. And it's not one station. Listen, I've heard that song like 30 times since I moved here, and I love that song. But you all love it more than me.
Yeah. Well, now that we do know that tone exists, and we can argue that later, maybe, possibly, we'll see. How long did it take to find the tone on Super Submachine?
So originally, I was like, no pop songs because I wanted to be evil Idle Brain, and Idle Brain wrote pop songs, not just pop songs, but something that was like exciting for me in Idle Brain was I didn't think me writing catchy stuff was ever going to happen. I didn't know how that worked really, and then when I went to make Animatronic, I was like, no pop songs.
Not allowed.
But I made one rule in case. I said, okay, well, if a pop song happens, it can happen, but it has to be about sex.
That's the one exception.
That's the one rule. It's like, okay, I'll let pop songs happen, but like they have to be kind of freaky. So Super Submachine song came along as like,
I think that's a good rule, as long as there's a little freak in it.
yeah,
It
you
can
know,
maybe be a little poppy.
I don't know. The difference between Animatronic and Idle Brain is I didn't want to talk about my like problems anymore. And if I was gonna write a catchy song, I wanted it to be kind of happy. And I think making it a little freaky was the way I decided to make it happy.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But yeah.
You hitting the road anytime?
I really want to. It's like one of those things where, you know, I've been here for a year. I'm settled, but I'm not exactly rolling in the dough. I'm a DSP. I work with adults with developmental delays, and it's very rewarding. but it doesn't pay super great. And I knew when I was moving from Massachusetts to Chicago that there was going to be 1 to 2 years that I couldn't really tour. I'm like used to touring with my other project, Dying in Space, and yeah, Idle Brain toured a little bit too. But I would love to do an animatronic tour. I'm kind of just saving up my money and also kind of like getting to know. I mean, there's so many cool bands and cool acts here, and there's so many people to meet that it's like I don't even know who I would tour with yet. Like I would probably jump at most situations if the band is chill, but like I miss it really bad. I love touring. I don't care if it's a guest room or a floor. I don't care if it's a punk house or a bar. I love it.
How do you currently feel about improv music?
Oh, well, I love improv music. I mean, animatronic is definitely not that. Even the noise portions of animatronic are very every little blip, every little piece of static is intentional.
100%. I could feel it in the record too. It's bulletproof.
Thank you. My other project, Dying in Space, it's guitar noise. There's no vocals. There's no drums. It's a lot of it seems or feels more like dark ambient, and then there's noise, and it's a bass 6, so it's like a weird ass sounding guitar, and that's where I primarily do improv music. I have a duo with my partner called Slag, and that's like noise chaos with like
link below
with like post punk like freakouts.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm excited to get working on that a little bit more because it's gonna kind of include both things, songs or parts and improv. But yeah, I love improv. I was in a band called Bird Organ for a minute back in Massachusetts. And
shout out.
Yeah, and that taught me a lot of things about improv and I mean, also being a self-taught musician too, it's really good to be put into a space where you're forced to meditate and you're musically at least, and you have, it's a noise band, so you have complete freedom to do whatever the hell you want, but you want to listen, and I love that. I want to get back into that. I kind of put Dying in Space like on the back burner because animatronic is my baby. But yeah, I do also love improv. It's just animatronic. The setup could be that, but animatronic, the band is not that.
Well, it truly is a rad piece. It's fierce and electric and a ride, and really, really had a great joy. And I suffered through it too. I was in the woods, deep in the woods, and I suffered through it as well. It was a good journey. It truly was. With Ancient Addy, I got to shout it out to Full Self sessions. We might drop early demos that we've done past within the Full Self. And at one point, me and musician friends had a project called The Ancients. And we were on a lot of Adderall at that time. Shout out to what it was like to be in 2004 and diagnosed with the goods and having all the Adderall you wanted. What
time release
is
30s all
is
day
the history and how, or her story? How did the creation, or how did even that one come to be? Yeah, what's the deal with Ancient Addy? Because we gotta know how that.
All right. Well, Ancient Adderall, the song, the instrumental, it had a few different names going into it. I think the first name was Hology 101. It's just
Hologram.
just liked the word hology a lot. So I wrote it down and I was like, well, you can't just call it hology. So
Yeah.
let's call it Hology 101.
Fifth dimensional.
And then it became, I started calling the song The Fuckboy Suicides. But I started to feel like no one would get the reference to the Virgin Suicides. So then I wanted to change the name again. And
To the
let's
Breakfast
just say,
Fuck Club.
well, let's just say a parental figure found some very old Adderall and gave it to me, and it still worked. Not that that's important, but I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna call this song "Ancient Adderall" because it's like it's just an instrumental, and this way it's not gonna offend anyone or miss a reference. so yeah, I just named it that because I couldn't really think of a good name beyond the Fuckboy Suicides.
Well, thank you. It really fucking was a joy. And well, how did the title come to be? How did you know that it was all ready to go? And
Well, I mean, the song, the instrumental kind of focuses around a sequence I tried to write. I tried to basically write a sequence that was maybe an original progression, and just trying to make it as random as possible. And after I made it, I was like, this is insane. This is like a amphetamine kind of gone wrong. Like, this is like a a drug that has expired. So I felt like that
in the
was
labyrinth,
yeah,
for real.
so I felt like that was a good name for it. I also kind of wanted to end the album in a place of radio static because originally the idea for the album was that it would be more or less like a radio station that you couldn't really control, and then it would go in and out of these like really static, chaotic moments, and then come back to songs that maybe you didn't think were going to happen next or something like that. I don't know.
Well, all channels tuning in, all archetypes alike, all 13, thank you for forming, being here within the present. And dude, thank you so much. It was really a moving piece. I think it's about time to dust off the old Sure and rock out. Let's fucking do a sesh, and then we'll come back and do a nightcap. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Links below. Check it out. Animatronic. Till then, peace, love, rock and roll. Always.
Check 1 2. That's my voice. Yeah. I don't mind creating on media when I'm alone, but I can't. It's hard to interact. It's hard to. My brain becomes this like cloud, and I don't know. I can work it, but I don't know. Creatively, I prefer a little bit of alcohol if I'm going to be like working with somebody, because it just gives me a little bit more courage. But I've tried like the whole like play a set on acid, and it is not what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah. How do you think the 13th floor did it? Like the elevators. Do you think, they're just so used to being on the trip? Like,
Well, it's. I mean, there's a lot of.
Or is it just-
There's a lot of lives that would be hard for me personally to live. I could never. I had like my acid years, my psychedelic years, and I still take psychedelics, but I could never be a person who was on it every day, because I think that kind of inconsistency would be really hard for like the way that I'm bipolar.
yeah.
So like I have never lived like that, but every so often I think of like what it would be like to be like if I was an acid head, like I did it every day, and I just think to myself, my life would be really different. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Shit. Well, let's jump in. Ready?
let's do it. I feel like I should do it too.
Yeah, that was a time for sure. Time will horse canal. No. Time collapse. I don't know what that is. That was,
It is 4:20. The last hour.
this green orb just we chiefed, and this green orb disappeared out of nowhere.
I can confirm it.
Yeah.
There was an orb. We pondered it for a little while.
I love the orbs. How do you feel about the orbs?
Well, I love circles. If anyone
Spheres.
knows me, they know I like circular shapes,
Objects.
objects.
Yeah. Circles are fascinating.
They're great.
Full circles, spirals. Do you find yourself like feeling the deja vu feeling, or feeling the reoccurrence of certain moments that feel like previous?
Sometimes it's like I do feel those moments, but like you know
Especially when you're alive as long as
Have been.
you feel like you have had like kind of multiple lives, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, where and you can chapter these by age, but personally, like I think to myself, and it's a nice thing that it's 420, because I've smoked a lot of weed too, so I feel like I forget the previous lives I've had, or even the previous like bands. I'm like, oh yeah, I was in that band. But it's not like
So long ago.
it's just because
Yeah.
if you like what you do, you kind of more or less continue the cycle, but like you make it better every time. And I really like loved my 30s, because it took all of my 20s to kind of figure out what I wanted and what I didn't want. And the 30s were still that for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like a lot more fun, because I like knew myself better, and I knew the world, and I knew the world better. And yeah,
Yeah. Do you
But I-
think we are interdimensional?
oof. I mean, that's a tough one. I think, I mean, probably because I don't know. I mean, if we're so far from other, planets with civilizations on them, you know what I mean? Because obviously they exist way out there. But if we're really
gotta be out
so
there. Yeah.
far from that, I feel like alternate realities or alternate dimensions makes sense to me because everything is such a finite way. But if things were just a little bit different, they would be so completely different. And I don't know. I don't know that it's true, but it's undeniable.
Yeah.
The feeling of like, oh wow, I mean, and everybody's thought it at one point in their life or multiple times in their day is like, oh wow, if my life was just a little bit different, then it would be like this, and for better or for worse. I mean, it would be like this, and that's interesting.
Yeah. In the setting of entertainment, and movies and places we create, is there a certain world you love when it comes to movies or TV series?
Yeah. I love like the noir of like a highway at night. At night or just just a road even, but like there's something about any movie that's ever put me in a place where I'm on a road in the night and it's unknown, what we're heading towards, you know what I mean? At least visually, I love that. I really love driving at night. Like tour sometimes gets sometimes people have toured with me and they're like, you can't drive all night, and I'm like, but I love it and I can't sleep. and so they let me do it, and there's never been an issue. But like, yeah, I'll like crush like 5 hours and they'll be like, wake up and be like, what the fuck? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm not okay. But that was I liked that. I need to go to bed now.
I just can't get the lost highway shots of just that
Lost
driving with those frames of just speeding shots just going through your eyes or out your eyes, in your eyes.
Even the preview for that movie was hypnotic.
Yeah.
Because it's that one theme running through it. And holy shit, that movie is not for everybody. But I love that movie.
That movie will fuck you up a little bit.
Yeah,
it gets really brainy.
It's a David Lynch film. It's you kind of have to, prepare people more or less. Trigger warning
for the awareness.
Yeah, but I feel like all of his movies in which they show.
Yeah,
that movie is, man. I mean, that movie's great, but there is like that one. There was that like one scene where I'm like, damn, this is really not for everybody, and I would not subject any person to this movie without warning them. And that's pretty much every David Lynch film. But I guess what I was trying to say is like, he's like one of those the whole time. You've got this one character who's a fucking FBI agent tying it, sanity and like trust, like a man you can trust.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny that the small town world of Twin Peaks is so fucked up that you trust the FBI agent the most.
Yeah.
That's
for real.
I mean, obviously that was kind of like the story was kind of written around him being a hero, but still, if you think about it, if you think about all the shit that was going down in that town at that at that time in the story, it would present weird situations where a person you wouldn't think would be really a hero is like the hero because everything is so fucked up.
Yeah.
But I love David Lynch.
Yeah. How often are you journaling, your dreams?
Not much. I don't remember a lot of my dreams. I think because of things like 420. No, but yeah, I really like. I don't really remember most of my dreams. I'm told that is because I smoke weed daily. But I'm kind of alright with that because I mean some of my dreams are like not much fun for me. You know what I mean? I think I used to have a lot of like kind of like traumatic dreams, or my brain likes to like make me talk to people that I would never talk to again in like weird dream sequences, and I'm glad I don't remember.
So do you lucid a lot then? If you're having conversations with people you don't normally talk to, are you going lucid and then going to talk to Jesse? Oh man,
Man, I haven't talked to Jesse in a minute.
I try to. I don't know. Personally, I kind of. I can kind of like tend to dissociate in a conversation. It's almost one of those things where it's like pay attention, then you stop paying attention because you're trying too hard to pay attention.
Yeah.
But cause it's not a intentional thing, but sometimes, yeah. And as far as like lucid goes, like I don't remember my dreams, but very often in the world of insomnia, I'll be like falling asleep and then I'll like come back, but in that split second, I've had the most like convoluted dream in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I've always thought,
with insomnia, you do at least get to view how, like, the subconscious, this world that dreams comes from, it's just right underneath you.
Like the subconscious, this world that dreams comes from, it's just right underneath you. It's like a river that's always running. As soon as you reach REM, your brain goes into this whole thing. You know what I mean? And like I don't, who knows, what its real purpose is, but with insomnia, I've dipped in and out, of sleep so quickly and so briefly that you get to see just how brief it needs to be to have this like crazy, really convoluted dream.
The concept of remembering all of those is ridiculous. Yeah, and so it's my opinion that
People who wake up and remember their dreams are just remembering one of maybe 1,000. Because it can happen in a split second, and then you're out of it. I also, for the record, I think I have sleep apnea, and I am about to take a sleep test, prove that. I don't think that I'm just an insomniac who dips in and out of REM, and uncontrollably. I think I probably have like a breathing issue. We're gonna figure that out.
If you ever were approached by TV or film or someone maybe that wanted to have you write a composition for a film, would you consider it, or have you ever?
I would love that. Yeah, I would love that. I love the concept of scoring and someone, allowing me to use, my sounds, and because that's what I know. So that would be, the easiest for me to do it that way. But one time on tour with Dying in Space, we played a rental place, like a movie rental place. And they said, hey, we can project any movie we have here, like behind you while you perform. What would you like? And I actually tried to choose the Twin Peaks season 3 with the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
But sorry. But it was rented. So I chose Mandy. And I basically for 30 minutes tried to score Mandy, and it was so much fun. It was like, and then like the bonus was like, there was like 10 people there watching it, so it was like, I don't know, it was like really like way more fun than I thought it was going to be, because also I was like trying to perform, so like I'm performing, but then I keep looking back at the wall to see what's going on in the movie, and it affects what I'm playing, and you know, so I would jump at any chance to score something just because I know how much fun it can be for just me, and yeah.
Would you rather the end be the beginning or the beginning be the end?
Oh shit. Well, I mean it's situational. I mean, I guess I guess you know, like the end being the beginning is refreshing, but I think when movies start that way, eventually you remember, unless the movie's so good that you've totally forgotten that it started with the ending. The closer you get to the ending, you're like, oh shit, I already know what happens. You know what I mean? Like, but it's situational. Like, some stories need to be told that way, but 9 times out of 10, when people do it cheaply, you're like, okay, well, I already know how this ends. They really shouldn't have done it that way.
Well, truly, Animatronic, amazing. It's been inspiring seeing your set, and it's been super fun chopping it up with you. Do you have any things you're excited about, like releases or any shows coming up? Anything you got really cooking for the rest of the year here?
Yeah, I have about, I have enough material for an EP, and I wasn't really planning on making an EP.
You heard it here first.
I wanted to make another album, but with what I have right now, I feel like it would be one of those EPs where it's like kind of every flavor of what Animatronic is, and I feel like that's a chance to kind of like, I don't know, put something out that's like a little bit more digestible for people who are just like checking it out. So like basically my idea was like it's kind of 4 songs, but I'm gonna make it 2 tracks and have the titles kind of have a slash in between, so that like there's a little bit of license for this song to go a completely different other place. And I think with that, it's like might be a nice EP, because I feel like the next album I make, I want it to be like really focused on the outrage of things that we've learned or that I've learned over the course of the last year. And it's not that these songs can't go on that album, but I feel like they're not focused in that world, and I would like to kind of really make something that's really not so much maybe angry but outraged, because I just need somewhere to put those feelings.
Well, thank you for creating in such a time of, I feel now more than ever is the time to keep pushing, keep creating, and you're really carrying a frequency of depth, but also it's very entertaining, like adventurous, and just appreciate it, and the scene does too. Collider and all, mad love.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. I feel home at home, and it's funny because where I lived when I was at home hadn't felt like my home for like 3 years, and I didn't really realize that. I didn't realize that I was.
420 wasn't celebrated the same way over there.
No, I mean.
No green orbs. No green orbs over there.
Was one of the most weed-centric, like, at least, like, noise house. Like, like a house focused on noise. Like, we smoked weed like we were, like, signed to Def Jam. Like, and we weren't. And we didn't even have that kind of money, but, like, I don't know. And so, you could play a noise show, any part of New England, But if you wanted like the whole house to be filled with weed smoke, you came to Leisure Hive because that's the way we rolled.
Over the course of all your experiences with the houses and the collab houses, what were your favorites?
Well, in Worcester, there's a place called Distant Castle. There's also like another venue there called the Firehouse, and I think a lot of people have probably said that the Firehouse is a cool venue. So I'd rather talk about Distant Castle because Distant Castle, I don't even know if it's still a house. I don't even know if it's still going, but I don't know. I played some of my earliest shows, like kind of. That was one of the farthest places I would drive to play a show, and it was just a house show. Really, it was a house venue, and like you could play in the living room. I think there was also a basement situation. Yeah, it was definitely a basement situation that was like a little bit bigger. I don't know. I mean, I can't even really put my finger on it. I mean, maybe it's something about the house being on a hill that seems like physics would not allow it to be standing, but like so much of Worcester is just like giant hills they try to put suburbs on for some fucking reason. I have nightmares. I have a reoccurring nightmare that I know I got from being in Worcester, and it's not even really a nightmare. It's me driving up a really steep hill, like a road, and I'm in a convertible or something, and the farther I drive up, the more I feel gravity kind of like pulling me out of the car, and then like before I like roll out of the car, I just wake up. It's not even like it's like a falling dream, but it's not because you're not falling at all. But yeah, Worcester and the Distant Castle was on this is on this like really, really just ridiculously steep hill. Even when you park your car on it, you feel like you're doing something wrong. Like you feel like your car like will not survive this. You know what I mean? Because it's just so vertical. But the house was really nice. I mean, I don't know. With these houses, you never know like how many people are there and who's there and changes hands and whatnot. But I liked the vibe of that place, and it made me go on to like really love booking like house shows because of, I guess I'm also because especially in the living room they had like negative space to have the shows, but they did it anyways. And then the basement was definitely way more space, but regardless, like I don't know, I respected that the house utilized like the fullness of the space even when it maybe wasn't even there. You know what I mean? Which, I don't know.
What's your favorite thing about live shows?
Ooh, well,
DIY live shows.
DIY live shows. That's a good differentiation. I think that DIY live shows are like so much more important than like any of the other kind of shows, because like the bigger the venue, the more singular the experience, right? Like you can be next to 1 million people, but like it's this, you're not, unless there's time to talk to them, you're just in an experience of, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at a DIY show, you get to meet people, you get to talk to people. You can be a wallflower and listen to people and learn a lot. You can be a quiet, insecure person and just sit on the couch and actually feel like you're part of something. You might want more from that experience, but you know what? There's always another time. There's always another show. There's always, and when we can make these places safe, or really put in the effort, then then you're providing someone with a really nice experience. Let's say a lot of young people come to DIY shows. It makes it it moves these DIY shows. You can't have a good DIY show with a bunch of like 39-year-olds like myself. You know what I mean? I mean, like you could get them together, they'd have fun, all right? But it's not going to be the same kind of DIY show. I think that the youth is super important, but I think that providing a space that is like absolutely safe in every way that it needs to be, whether that be masked, or I don't know. I just think, you know, that is a really important thing, because there is very, very little places for the youth to go, and I don't know. I almost wish there were more houses that kind of booked shitty shows, so that there were more places for kids to go, because I'd rather more lackluster shows. Not that you do that, Chicago, but I'm just saying hypothetically. I'd rather more spaces with less than great shows, but safe areas for just someone to go to. I mean, like, like, I'm from New England, and like New England there's a lot, right? But there's also a lot of there's a lot of vastness, you know what I mean, in the woods and whatnot, and when you live out there, you feel like you're, alone in the universe. And I just think, places to go to that are like, maybe an hour down the highway are really special, and if it's not a venue, especially nowadays, shaking you down for like $40 to enter the place, that's fucked up,
Yeah.
Especially when you want drink sales to go up, their bars. I don't know.
Right.
Might want to like change your shit up if you really want us to drink your booze and be in your shitty bar. Make it fucking safe or fuck off.
Yeah, for real. Thank you so much, and for real, Animatronic. It's been groovy to chop it up, and just like really appreciate everything you're doing, and really appreciate you coming through and having a sesh with me. The last thing I'd love to ask is just, for other or people out there, younger people out there, people looking to be creative, find a space or start creating themselves, what tips, what suggestions or advice would you throw their way?
I mean, you can't do it yourself. You need other people. You shouldn't be running large shows and not having at least the intention of having like 3 people. But nowadays, I really feel like there needs to be like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to provide a show, but I just think that there needs to be like however number of people you think need to work the show, get one more. Get one more and just have them be eyes. Not to make any decisions, just to be eyes, because it will make or break a tragedy, and those seem just so they're just going to keep happening, that like security's not enough. Someone working the door is not enough. Sound guy can't do fucking shit about this. You know what I mean? You can hire multiple security people, but like that doesn't make people feel safe. And honestly, it usually makes people feel the opposite. But and not that this is gonna make anyone feel safer, but there needs to be eyes. Just eyes, just eyes paying attention.
Yeah.
Everybody else is experiencing the music and the art, and there needs to be like 1 or 2 people that are literally just there to view that and make sure that that doesn't turn into, some kind of crazy ass tragedy, because that's the thing, is that the more that public situations are not presented for communities, the more that these really violent or hurting people need to go. They're gonna go to the places that are actually gonna trust and just let them in. And I don't think that people should be pat down for DIY shows, but we need to pay attention.
Thank you, for real. Some real insight in the scene, and appreciate everything you laid out. This was groovy, super gnarly. Love to have you back down the line.
I would love to be here. 420.
420, everyone. Hope you're lighting it up. tuning in. And yeah, Chicago, mad love. Links below. Check it out. Until next time, peace, love, rock and roll. Always. Yay!